Today I'm going to show you how you can save over $25,000 per year on a regular salary. I'm going to take you through what I did myself to get there. Last year I only had about $10,000 saved for retirement. This year I have over $40,000 saved for retirement on just a $65,000 a year salary. I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it, what my expenses are, and what you can do as well to get to that point. So let's get started. The first thing that you need to do to get there is you need to evaluate all of your expenses. So the big ticket items to the small ticket items. So the first thing you need to do is calculate how much you're paying for rent. If you still live at home with your parents, this is a huge benefit because rent, I live in New Jersey, and a very expensive part of New Jersey, so one of the most expensive places in the country other than California. So if you're living with your parents, this is a huge savings. I mean, I'm at about $1,000 a month for rent that I pay, and then my wife, obviously, we split it. So we're at $2,000 a month for rent. And look behind me. It's not very nice. So if you live in another part of the country, it should be even less. So that's the first thing. Evaluate what you're paying for rent, and if you're paying too much, move somewhere else, find a roommate, move back home with your parents for a year or two. It definitely will help you a lot. Just by cutting your rent in half, if you live alone, let's say you're paying $2,000 a month for rent, that's $12,000 a year right into your savings. So last year, what I did was, I was already paying. I've been splitting rent with my wife for a while, so I couldn't really do anything. But that's one thing that you can do. So let's break it down. $65,000 a year after taxes is about $4,300 a month. So how are you going to save over $2,000 from just $4,300 a month? Again, it's not easy, but it's doable. $1,000 goes to rent. So now we're at $3,300 a month left. The next thing on my list, and that everyone should do, is you should have a hobby to splurge on, but not too crazy. So for me, I'm a car guy. I like cars. My car specifically is an M3. It's a 2011, so it's a bit older. About a year ago, I actually had a 2018 M3, and I said, you know what? I'm not saving money for retirement. I'm going to sell this. I made a little bit of money because the market was fantastic. I sold it and I got a little bit of an older M3, and it turns out the older M3 is honestly more fun than the newer M3. So whatever your hobby is, cut down that cost just a little bit, but you need to have that hobby, because if you don't have a hobby and you're just living like a hermit, you're going to end up splurging in an even worse way. It's like being on a diet, for example. If you put yourself in too strict of a diet, your cheat day is just going to get worse and worse each time, and eventually it's almost like you're not even on the diet. So have a little bit of splurge in there. I splurge on my car. It's $420 a month for the car payment. I paid half in cash, and then the rest is my car payment. So again, $420 a month. What were we at? We were at $3,300 minus 420 is $2,800 a month. So what I do now is very difficult. It's not going to be easy for any of you, and it certainly was not easy for me. I was spending about $1,200 to $1,500 a month on going out, having fun, doing all that stuff with my friends. I took it upon a personal challenge to cut that down to $600 a month. And that's it. In New Jersey, mind you. So that brings me down to $2,280 a month left over. And I saved $2,100 a month. So I give myself a $180 spread just in case of an emergency or anything like that. And I know $180 is nothing. You're barely going to cover anything, but it does actually help. Now let me break down that $600, because you're probably like, how the hell do you live on $600 a month? It's very easy. Every time I go to the supermarket, it costs me about $120. That's because I split it with my wife. Our supermarket bill is for a week and a half, 2 weeks is well over $200. But again, we split that. Um, we eat very nice food. My wife is a very good cook. I happen to be a good cook. So we eat nice meals. You know, I'm buying steak, I buy salmon, I buy organic chicken. Don't ever cheap out on chicken. That's one thing I could say. Um, so we eat good food. We don't cheap out. But when it comes to going out for meals, we don't go to the steak restaurant. We don't go to the high-end burger place for a $20 burger. You know, we will go to in the middle. You know, we'll spend 12, 13, $15 each per meal. Um, every once in a while, like maybe once a month, twice a month, we'll go out for a nice meal. But some of you guys are going for nice meals 2 to 3 times a week, and that's just destroying your wallet. You know, it's just not a good thing to do. So now that I broke down my cost, you know I'm saving over $2,100 a month. I'm going to tell you what I'm actually doing with that $2,100 a month. I put that money into a Roth IRA, and I also put it into just a regular individual brokerage account. Now, I studied finance and I actually used to work for Morgan Stanley. So there's some things that I do on my own and some things that I don't do on my own. The thing that I don't do on my own is my Roth IRA. I leave that to the professionals. I actually have a very good friend, Canty Financial. You can look them up. They're in New York, Saratoga. Um, Great firm, and I give all of my money to Ed because, to be honest with you, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to be researching different ETFs and mutual funds all the time. I'm a busy guy. I have a lot of things on my plate. You know, I have a day job, and I also do a couple other things. As I mentioned, I'm starting a business with my wife. We're still working on the idea. You can follow us on TikTok. I'll leave the link below. But again, I'm too busy to work on that. So that I believe for 2023 it's $6,500 a month, but last year it was only 6,000. So 6,000, 25, 2. So with the 19,200 left over from the 2,100 a month that I save, I will actually take that and put that into an individual account that also Ed manages for me. Again, the reason being, I don't have the time. I don't want to be looking up stocks, individual stocks, and this benefited me greatly last year because the market was awful. People lost 40, 50, 60% of their money. I actually only lost about 4% of my entire portfolio in 2022, which was unheard of. I mean, even my buddy Ed, I mean, he lost over 40% himself, and he's like, Zach, you just got so lucky. I'm like, all right, cool. So that definitely helped for me going from 10,000 to 40,000. Now I know what you're thinking. All right, Zach, you told us how you saved 25,000, but that's only 35,000, not 40,000. Where did the other 5 grand come from? Extra activities that I do, side hustles, things like that. So, as I mentioned in my other video, I flip almost anything I can get my hands on. This right here is a Leica M9 I found on Facebook Marketplace. For those of you that don't know, Leica is a very prominent camera brand. They make the highest end cameras you can think of, and they're very sought after. And the big thing is, it's like a car. They initially lose value, but there's a bottom, and then they go up in value. The M9 is a very collectible camera. I happen to get a good deal on it. I don't know anything about cameras before buying this thing, but now I do. And I'm hoping to make between 500 and 1,000 on that alone for 2023. But in 2022, I was flipping mostly watches. I'm big into watches. So again, find your hobby and use that to your advantage. If you like building Legos, flip Legos. I mean, there's a huge market for that. Anything, really anything, there's a huge market. Any hobby can be turned into an actual job or a side hustle. So just keep that in mind. And I hope you learned something here. And I know this video is a little sporadic. This is only my what is this? This is my second video. The videos are going to get better as we go. And again, my goal for this year, 10,000 subscribers. Let's get there. Until next time, see you later. Peace.